Tom, what are the reactions from the leaders there?
Yeah, Angie, the German delegation telling us that terrorism now has moved to the top of the agenda here in light of what's happened in Nice, in France. And early this morning, amongst the 50 or so heads of state and ministers, we did hear reaction and comments. We heard from the President of the European Council, Donald Tusk. We also heard from the Belgian Foreign Minister, Reinders. So take a listen to what they had to say.
This is a sad day for France, for Europe, for all of us here, also here in Mongolia. And it's a tragic paradox that the subject of the attack were people celebrating liberty, equality and fraternity. We all stand united with the families of the victims, with the French people and their government in its fight against violence and hatred.
We need also to try to combine our efforts to fight against radicalism. That is the most important issue, and we have now a real action plan at the level of the United Nations. But unfortunately, it's impossible to avoid all the terrorist attacks. And today, again, we are thinking first of all about the victims.
The Belgian Foreign Minister calling for more intelligence sharing between EU states and between the EU and Asia. And he was coming here to talk about radicalisation anyway. Belgium, of course, a victim of those attacks on the Brussels airport, March 22nd. We're expecting more comments. The French Foreign Minister, Mr. Arnaud, is here as well. We may well hear from him. So expecting more comments throughout the day here in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Angie?
Is this threatening to take over the rest of the agenda at the meetings?
Well, the Germans said that it is now top of the agenda. I don't think it's going to take everything off the table. There's still going to be discussion, I think, about the South China Sea, despite what China says. China says this is not the forum for discussions, but it was clear from Philippines' foreign minister who said he is going to bring this up. And we've got ministers and leaders here from Vietnam, Malaysia and Indonesia. So we're expecting some discussion on that. There is pressure on ASEAN as well, ASEAN leaders to come out with a joint statement. There is also pressure on the EU to come out with a joint statement on the South China Sea ruling from The Hague. There is rumours in the German press that some in the EU are divided on this issue, and that's why it's taken the EU some time to come out with a joint statement. And we've also heard China cascading or scolding the Australians for talking about more freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea. So that is going to be part of the talks. We're also expecting more bilaterals, so watch out for those, possibly between Merkel and Medvedev, and discussions about trade, growth, global growth, and of course China and the Chinese economic slowdown. Back to you, Angie.